All right, so this is another dating story from Hinge, and probably the last notable one, I'd say. I mean, everyone I met was very nice and everything like that, but this one I felt like was definitely different. It was, I believe, the third person I met through the app, and we started off actually like on the phone, just calling. We called maybe like 2 or 3 times before we actually met in person. So we already had like somewhat of a connection at that point. And it was very easy to talk to her. She was like definitely one of the easiest people to talk to that I met through Hinge. And I found like her to be very fun to talk to as well. So that was a good sign, you know? And once I met up with her in person, like I wasn't sure. I felt like she kind of looked slightly different from her profile photo. Um, I guess that happens, right? People use their best photo and whatnot. So, like, you're bound to come across and meet people who don't exactly look exactly the same. They definitely resemble it, but they're not like exactly the same. Um, like, I can recognize her for sure, but there was a difference, and I felt like she just wasn't as attractive in person, which is unfortunate to say. Like, I don't mean, I mean, that's just my honest thoughts, and I really hope that's not mean or anything, but um, that wasn't the reason exactly why like we stopped talking and all that stuff. Like I think the date went overall like good date, I guess. Um, I told her this was like the time period where I was still saying like, okay, let's just meet as friends, like it's not a real date. So that's how we met, and I think it was fun. It was like a mini golf basically, and I had a lot of fun with the date and talked with her a lot and got to know each other more. And from there, we ended up just talking more in general on the phone. Like, it was kind of a lot. Like, maybe we were texting each other every day and talking on the phone like once every 2 or 3 days for like a good hour or two. So it was like significant in that sense. But for me personally, I kind of have like I've done that a lot with friends in general, so I don't really see it as like a romantic thing necessarily. I do understand like the more time you spend with someone, you're talking to them on the phone a lot, all that stuff, texting them a lot. Like there are definitely those are, I guess, easy ways to get attached to someone and connected with someone. And for sure, it was nice. It was like I considered her to be a friend that was becoming more of a friend, right? Someone who's I'm getting closer with and connected to. But I never considered it romantic because I don't know. I guess for me, like I just, well, to be honest, completely honest, right? Attraction obviously is still one thing, but not just that. It was just like, I guess I didn't really feel like she had certain qualities that I wanted in a partner. Um, like I know that that's like you can't always get that, but for me, starting early on the apps, I was kind of pretty stubborn about those things. Like I was looking for someone who ideally has like some sort of creative aspect to them, who like has some ambition for their personal projects, who like feels like they want to go on adventures and have fun. And she didn't really fit those things like very much. And I felt like because of that, I didn't feel that romantic feeling. And after a bit of time of just talking and stuff, like I told her, like, honestly, like, right now I'm not feeling that we are like heading towards that direction. Like maybe it might change over time, but I don't know. But I feel like one of the lessons that I learned was not to say that, is to go off of your initial attraction. Not necessarily like fully just initial, like give it a chance as well, but like if you feel like there is very little, it's probably not going to work out in the end. is what I will advise, I suppose. Again, this is just my experience. But I do feel like, based on future interactions with people, that I am the type of person who like very much gains more feelings over time. The more time I spend with someone, like just memories, just creating like experiences, things that we share together, you know? I think that's like a very normal thing in general. And from that, like that's basically what I was saying, like to her, like that it's a possibility. And but I feel like I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that because it left the door open when I feel like was generally like more closed. Although she did like send me this SpongeBob meme saying like there was a wall between us. So I think it was quite clear. And eventually, after some time, like we just stopped talking. So it wasn't like that much time, to be honest. It was, I think, 2 months, 2 to 3 months, where we had that period of time of us just talking a lot. So I don't think it was like me leading her on or anything like that, but like I was being honest with my thoughts and feelings. But in general, if it were me now, I wouldn't even say like, oh yeah, there's like maybe my feelings can change in the future. I would just say like, this is how I feel right now, and you know, I would still really like to be friends. And that is basically what I said at the end. But we ended up not being friends. She just didn't want to continue talking if it wasn't like a real thing, which is unfortunate because that's not what she said in the beginning, where like she was saying we could be friends, even if it didn't work out. But you know, feelings are feelings, emotions are emotions, and it's hard to do that sometimes. So I understand, and I don't hold anything against her. But it was overall a good experience. I feel like I enjoyed like getting to know her as a person and interacting with her. So yeah, I'm glad to have met her. That was basically the full story of the full story of someone I thought was very notable that I met through Hinge. I hope she's doing well. And that's about it. Like, I don't think we'll talk about any of the other people we met through Hinge. Those aren't like good enough like things that happen. Like, it's a very standard, like, okay, texting eventually, or talking on Hinge, matching on Hinge, and then talking a little bit, getting each other's numbers or Instagrams sometimes, and then eventually planning a meeting up, having a nice conversation or meal, walking around and talking, and that's basically it. That's the majority of them. Yeah. Pretty standard stuff, I'd say. Like nothing crazy. Fortunately, everyone was nice. Yeah. But that's it. We'll talk more in the next video. Catch you guys in the next one. Let me know your dating stories down below. Peace.